This is Mark Belbin, SuperTraining.tv, Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West. You can see I'm warming up with the hip circle in the new facility, the new Super Training Gym. And you got a little Smokey in the background there, perving hard, snapping some photos. He's running MB Slingshot, at MB Slingshot on Instagram. Follow us. You can find out about some interesting spatials that are about to come up for the holidays. Got Silent Mike banging out some Skwaats, too. We got my boy, Jesse Burdick, who came down from his gym to come train with us, CSA, which is in Dublin, California. Ever near that area, go check him out. Burdick's the man. And we had Ryan Higgins drop in, the ever so pleasant Ryan Higgins, a.k.a. Higgs, came and trained with us on this day. He's somebody who hit a great total at the last Super Training, or 2 Super Training meets ago, I believe. Hit up a 750-pound deadlift. He squatted about 600 pounds, knee sleeves, and I can't really remember his bench, but he put together a pretty good day. And where I see the most area that he can improve upon is his squat. 600-pound squat's actually really pretty good, especially considering that he's not even wearing knee wraps. However, I think he should be squatting more like 700. That's what we do here at Super Training. We are never satisfied with just lifting good. We're trying to lift great, and we're trying to help other people lift great too. You can see I got my fancy hat on, my fancy Reebok hat on, over the top of the hood. Now, see, if I was black, I'd be able to pull it off, but because I'm white, I just look fucking just absolutely ridiculous, and I'm definitely way too old to trying to figure that out. It's just not working at all. So I might as well just call myself out. I have said before that if you're over 35, a straight brim hat is not going to work. I wear it mainly just because it looks stupid. Here goes Fat Dan with some squats. But back to Higgs. We worked very, very hard on this day, especially my boy Jesse Burdick, with kicking him some knowledge and kicking him in the pants and giving him information on how to stop folding over. Ryan Higgins, if you go and check out his Facebook page and some of his other stuff, start perving on him a little bit, you'll see that when he gets to a heavy squat, he tends to round over quite a bit. And that's actually been an issue of mine. But I'm able to help a lot of people fix their problems. I can't fix my own problems because I'm not smart enough to do that. But I can help a lot of other people out, and that's something we worked very hard on this day. And we worked on bar placement. We worked on tightness. As you can see, we're trying to wedge him into the bar a certain way. We worked on what he was doing from the start, how he was unracking the bar. That's crucial as well. Here goes Chris Ramos with a huge squat, hitting that cambered bar squat up. Chris likes to, hit the same type of lift for several workouts in a row. And he just kind of goes heavier on it and switches it up back and forth a little bit. That was Dave Z going crazy with a big squat there. Still warming up to something real big, though. We got Dan going again. Dan was struggling on this day a little bit. He hit up at, whoa, you can see he's struggling right there. He blew his pants out. Guy's literally working his ass off. But you know you're fat when you blow your pants out. That's like a good sign. You know, that should be like it should kind of mark this day down in history, or mark his underwear down in history as being completely blown out. He blew out, I think, his underwear and his shorts, which is really disgusting. But anyway, back to helping Ryan Higgins solve some of his problems on his squat. A big thing that we did was have him to stop looking up so much when he was squatting. Looking up isn't necessarily bad, but it's just not ideal for everybody. He also, what we didn't quite fix up all the way was he's tending to overarch, and that overarching was causing a lot of shaking. When you get overextended, or you try to arch too hard, sometimes you'll start to shake a little bit. Repetitions tend to help fix any form issues. So anybody who's got just any kind of form issue that you could possibly think of, doing sets of 5, doing sets of 6, sets of 8, sets of 10, stuff like that. Getting outside the realm of powerlifting a little bit and doing a little bit more bodybuilding style squats would help as well. So you can see Ryan here. Now we're starting to load him up a little bit of weight. We did a lot of volume first, but there's no rounding over. We got the bar in the perfect place. he had the bar a little bit higher than that when he came in, and we lowered the bar slightly. And all that really did, it's a little bit different for each person, but there has to be a good relation to where your hips are and where the barbell is. Dan was struggling on this day a little bit, but he still was able to get 605 moving for a few reps. I think last time he did this, he used the stretchier knee wraps, the slingshot knee wraps, as opposed to here he's wearing the Lillibridge knee wraps. See Ramos going here, loading that weight up again, and whoop, he almost died, nearly took a couple people out with him. So one of the advantages of training here at Super Training Gym is we got a lot of people. We got a good team. We got people that care about each other, people that give a fuck, and so they're going to try to grab the weight and try to help the guy, even if he almost does die, and even if he almost kills a bunch of people in the process. But, you know, when you're going heavy, shit's not always going to be so safe. Things can get real dangerous. Here's Dave going with 705 for a few reps here now, I think. I think this is his big set, his top set. You can see a couple of those reps got a little shaky, and I gave him a little bit of a bump on the armpits there. Picked him up like a baby. Here's little Smokey banging out some squats. You can see he's got the bar driven pretty low there on his shoulders, on the rear delts. And see how he's kind of driving his chin back a little bit before he starts to squat. That is the main thing to do. The main thing isn't to just pick your chin up and look at the sky. The main thing is to try to keep your head back a little bit, not have your head and your chins go so far forward. I'm starting to get a little stronger on my squat again. Some things are coming back around after some injuries and just after being fat and old. Starting to feel a little bit better with my squat, and definitely getting a lot better depth. I've been working on going back and forth between squatting in my flat Reebok powerlifting shoes to going back and forth and squatting in the Olympic shoe, and that's been great. So for free squats, I usually wear an Olympic lifting shoe. For box squats, I usually wear the Reebok power shoe. So here goes Higgs again. Now we're getting him up right around 5-ish something. And again, no folding over, no flaws. It was a perfectly well executed squat. So we were able to really help him with his posture. Here's 545. You can see like most of the other squats for the day, I sank a little bit lower than that one. Actually, it's 555. Here's Lauren going. You can see Lauren's got the bar exceptionally low. Lauren's somebody who likes to use repetitions. Again, as I mentioned earlier, repetitions are amazing because it can really help you to get through some sticking points. Obviously, going heavy can help assist that as well. But when you do repetitions, you get to go through that sticking point multiple times. If you're rounding over or shifting forward or whatever it is that your issue is, you'll kind of plow through that issue many times over. You can see Burdick's starting to load it up now here too. Here's 555. Burdick does a great job of sitting back into his squats. He recently did a raw powerlifting meet where he successfully squatted 675 or so. He went for a 700 or 705 squat. Here's Higgs again, still staying very, very upright. Keep in mind I did mention that he hit a 600-pound squat in competition, and that right there was 555, and still with it sounds like over 90%. I don't know about the math, but still with something heavy, he's still keeping good posture and good form. But something to keep in mind is that we are always just trying to maintain position. You cannot improve position once you start. The way that you start is going to be the way that you finish. So you try to get in the best position possible. The best position possible does not mean to line up under the bar like some freak and try to contort yourself in some position that is not manageable. You have to have a position that is reasonable for your body type, and that's why this shit gets to be so confusing. Ryan, if you see this guy from the back, his freaking back is enormous. He's got big traps. He's got a big upper back. And if he tries to arch too hard, that's where some of the shaking, you see his fat cheeks. God damn, those are fat cheeks. You can see his fat jaws shaking during that lift a little bit. And that's just due to the fact he's very muscle bound through the upper and mid back. And if he tries to arch too hard, if he tries to stick that booty out too much, it's just not a manageable position for him to maintain. And we've seen that happen with other lifters here at Super Training. A similar thing was happening to Mr. Robot Pants. He would overextend quite a bit, and not that he would shake, but his strength would sort of shut down. Higgs was going with some knee wraps right there, and he hasn't really messed with knee wraps much before, so that's why he almost died. Now, Jesse and I moved into some box squats, and this was quite a strange change of pace to move into some box squats after some regular squats. I don't think I've ever done that before. So the first set was feeling like shit, kind of. You kind of see how I keep my head positioning down, but I'm keeping my chin up, keeping my head very neutral. And as I'm going downward, I'm trying to pull my chest up, as Ryan Higgins is doing right there, similar style. One thing I thought Ryan could improve upon this day, and I didn't really notice it until we watched the video, is just that the bar is just off-center there a little bit. He looks like he needs to move to his right a little bit more to pick that bar up more straighterist. The box squat is a great movement. You got to sit back into your hamstrings. You're trying to get into your hamstrings and get into your hips when you're doing a box squat. I would always suggest, or maybe not always, but mostly suggest, mainly suggest that when you do a box squat that you do it with a much wider stance than a regular squat. And that is because I said so, and B, because again, we were trying to get into the hips a little bit more, and we're trying to get into the hamstrings a little bit more, and it's a different squat than what you're used to. So whatever your normal stance is, with a regular squat, just take it out a little bit wider whenever you decide to do a box squat. And something else with a box squat is, I don't like to make a big deal about box height. I just kind of go with whatever height somebody else is going with. I don't really care. This is obviously a little bit above parallel, but so what? Move it around, lift whatever you can. So now we're getting Ryan to work with some knee wraps. He's getting a little bit more comfortable with it. Now he's got 5 plates on there. And it's a change of pace. He's not used to having his knees really come forward. He's not used to doing more than 1 repetition. That's why his face is sweating so profusely. And here goes Burdick again. Burdick's a great box squatter. He just has really honed his form and his skill with the box squat in quite well, and that's why he's able to deadlift like a maniac, because he's built up those hips over a long period of time. Here goes my chubby little self now with about 5 plates. Took a couple of sets to get used to this after doing the free squats, but we started feeling a little bit better after we did a few sets. Here goes Ryan again with some knee wraps on. A lot of top lifters, when they're going for real heavy sets, they'll have somebody else wrap their knees as tight as possible. But depending on the person, depending on the lifter, a lot of times in our training sessions we'll just wrap ourselves, make it a little bit easier. Another note on that is if you're going to powerlifting meet, make sure you don't only have one guy that knows how to wrap knees in your gym, so that way that one guy doesn't get killed wrapping everybody's knees. I know sometimes Burdick ends up wrapping 4 or 5 people, and Kara Weston, who also trains people. A great thing to do is to try to train your athletes just to fucking wrap themselves. If they don't wrap that well and they don't lift that much, when they wrap themselves, they will start to learn that they need to wrap themselves tighter and differently. They will learn very quickly because they'll miss the lift. And so the next time, they'll just wrap themselves up tighter. They'll try to cheat more. Here goes Lauren with that extreme low bar position. Again, as I mentioned earlier, he likes to do repetitions to kind of work through those sticking points. I don't know what the hell he's doing with his mouth and his lips, but I'm sure he would be really popular here in downtown Sacramento and maybe even up in San Francisco. And that is it from SuperTraining.tv.